All right, it is now time for the head coach of America's team. It's the Mike McCarthy Show, brought to you by Ford, built for Texas, built for you. Every Friday at this time with Shan and RJ, and it was a birthday week for Coach McCarthy. He's a fellow Scorpio like me, RJ. What does that mean to you with the traits of a Scorpio? I believe in these things.
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you the name of any sign or what day. I know the name of the signs. I don't know the dates of any sign other than mine.
Scorpios supposed to be intense, full of passion, clever, can't be fooled so easily, mysterious and secretive in our ways. Trust issues, could be highly suspicious of everything.
God, this is so accurate.
And we maybe lose our temper and it can get a little bit out of control.
I don't know about this can't be fooled thing.
Yeah, I worked with your dumbass for 10 years.
Yeah, I've fooled the hell out of you.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, fellow Scorpion.
Good morning. Coach, any of those traits apply to you? Do you believe in that stuff at all? The horoscopes or the accuracy of what you're supposed to be personality-wise?
No, I do believe. I believe in the energy of the universe, and yeah, I think I can definitely relate to some of those characteristics.
Now, would people, your friends, look at you as more of a laid-back, chill guy or a highly intense, passionate person?
I would say probably intense and passionate. But I think a lot of things too. It depends on what company you keep. I think over the years, you look at your long-time relationships, probably more laid back. I think that's more in the comfort of family and friends.
Yeah, and kids are supposed to mellow you, but I don't know if I've been mellowed at all. Still can.
Oh, you have. Trust me.
Can snap a little bit with the temper. Coach, obviously, the big news recently, Randy Gregory with the calf issue. Where are you looking to turn with the pass rush here over these next 3 weeks?
Frankly, we're just taking a next man up approach, and we'll. I just think the timing of Randy's injury, we really didn't want to change a whole lot. We wanted to stay as true to our plan as we possibly could. So we got some young guys that are doing some good things, and we'll just have a healthy rotation. Dorrance is back. Obviously Micah has been working there some too. So we're just going to go with just a little different rotation based on playtime numbers.
Do you see a scenario for when he excels at the position, because he's a lead at it, that Micah maybe more permanently at defensive end? That's my wish. That's my Santa. Santa McCarthy. That'd be my wish for you.
Really? It's interesting. I think Mike is unique in the fact that he can play the open end, and he's such an impact player at the linebacker position. So I don't really want to get away from lining him up at just in one spot. I think his versatility is a true asset to our defense, and I think it gives him a chance to continue to grow and be super productive.
Do you think he's better served rushing from the edge or from the middle of the line, like the A gap?
I think that the focus really for me is the fact that he can do them both at a high level. So I think you need to utilize that. I've had a experience in my past with Clay Matthews that was exclusively an outside linebacker rusher, and then we got into an injury situation and put him in he played the Mike linebacker for I think almost a year and a half, and I thought his production was so much more from the dual role going back and forth, because it creates a targeting issue for the offense, and they always got to be aware where Mike is going to be located. So I think just taking advantage of his ability to do both is the focus.
All right, Coach, my dumb question of the week has to do with these calf injuries. Have you found throughout your career that like a certain type of injury creeps up for this year or that year? And do you pay any attention to that? Like, why are calf injuries happening, or whether it's something else in another year where you've been coaching, a rash of injuries like this? Does it become a trend for some reason?
It can be. I think it's very important to watch the patterns. More specifically, you have to look at the injury and look at all the things that led up to the injury. Where the injury happened, as far as the movement pattern, what the athlete was doing at that particular time. So I think you have to look at all the characteristics and make a sound decision. But yeah, when you do put them on a list and you get a bunch of calf injuries, in a row, I have seen that happen before. There's, I think the trainers would talk to you about, there seems sometimes to be an injury of the year. But I think these are trends that you have to pay attention to, but you really have to break them down individually so you don't, stay on top of because it really helps you in the rehab part of it too. So yeah, we've had a couple calves situations, but I can't really sit here and tell you that one's been, directly related to another.
How are you feeling about Tyron's status for Sunday?
I'm sorry?
How are you feeling about Tyron's status for Sunday?
I'll say this: he did a lot more in the rehab yesterday. Component, he did some field work, so we'll see where he is today. If he doesn't practice Saturday, he will not be available for Sunday.
Coach, you gave us a very interesting analogy that came true for Terrence Steele, switching from right to left tackle. What was your evaluation of Steele in the game that he had, and how much more help may you have to give him if he struggles like he did on Sunday at times?
I just think another week of work over there will help him. I mean, the biggest challenge is, that he had was in the pass protection, which there's no surprise. That's probably the hardest part of making that switch from right tackle to left tackle. So I'm confident that with another week of work over there, that he'll definitely be more. He'll play better this week.
Coach, it looks like Michael Gallup is going to return. Just give us a refresher on his skill set and the things that Michael can do out there on the field and add to your already potent offense.
Michael has excellent vertical push in his routes. Very disciplined. He's probably our best contested catch receiver. So you can just see the juice that he brings the last 2 weeks. I thought he had a nice week last week, and definitely looks to be at 100% this week. But Michael's, when he gets the ball in his hands, it's, his numbers speak for themselves. But I really love the discipline of how he plays, and he's very quarterback friendly.
Mike McCarthy joining us here, 105 through the Fan. A couple of players had said over the last 2 weeks that there was, some bad practice days that they had as players. How, as a coach, do you kind of overcome that? Is that something that just you're going to deal with basically every year anyway? It's human nature.
Oh, not at all. I think the biggest thing is, and that's a big part of how you regulate your practice structures. It's something I'm very open with them. Specifically what we're looking for. Just the little things like pace of operation. The tempo, because there's a conditioning component to every time you line up on the field. So I wouldn't categorize them as bad practices. They just weren't to the level of the standard that we had set probably weeks 3 through 5. So, there's statistical information that goes with that. There's obviously the video correction that goes with that. But it's just like anything. You create a standard of how you train, and it just hasn't quite been to the standard that we had weeks 3 through 5. And I think some of that too is you got personnel changes and other guys coming in there too. So so far so good. I thought they had probably one of our better Thursday practices yesterday. So the most important thing is the guys are on top of it. They're focusing on it and just working to keep the standard above the standard.
Do you believe in the maybe a little theory of good losses?
He told us he didn't. He smacked me for the bad practice theory a couple weeks ago.
Do you believe in good losses?
I do not. I think you can win and not play as good and get the same thing out of it from my personal experience. But it's about winning, and that's something that may be cliche, but it's you got to just make sure that everything you do is about winning. And at the end of the day, you got to find ways to win on Sunday. I mean, it's this NFL season is so long, longer than ever this year, as we know, it's the 17th game, and at the end of it, you got to have as many wins as possible. So you're going to have trials and tribulations, injuries and ups and downs, and the ball doesn't bounce your way, and all those things. That's the beauty of this game. So if you have a strict, true evaluation and correction process, win and play bad would be my preference.
Coach, Dak said he didn't like his footwork against Denver. He wasn't driving on his throws or sitting on his back leg. Is that a natural hangover from the calf issue he was dealing with? And was that a reason to kind of leave him out there at the end of that game in a blowout to get him back in rhythm and trust himself more?
I mean, it could be. I think, just visiting with Dak last night and talking about, the week's work and just the emphasis of getting back to doing all the quarterback school drills. He was not at 100% as far as what we let him do, last week against Denver. So, and just and that's just the way he's wired and focused. He knows he needs it, and so he's feeling great this week. And just the fact that he was able to take the full load of the footwork drills and so forth. So, but I just think it's an example of him and just, how important it is and how in tune he is with his training and his fundamentals.
Mike McCarthy joining us here on The Fan. Matt Ryan, what does he have left, you think, from what you've evaluated from him on tape? We forget about him because the team hasn't been that competitive over the last couple of years from a playoff standpoint. What does he have left?
Well, you can see his experience and ball placement. His instincts and awareness are very high. Obviously, he's played a lot of football. You can see he's now comfortable in his new offense. He's been through a number of offenses in his time in Atlanta. So, he's going to have really good command of their offense. And, you're not going to fool him a whole lot, defensively, as far as scheme. But, it's still throws the ball very effectively. And, he's got some really good weapons. And I've been impressed with their offense.
One of those weapons is Kyle Pitts. How have you evaluated him on tape? What's he look like?
Just the same way we look when we come out of Florida. I mean, he's a super talented young man. They're doing a good job of getting him the football. You can see him really shows up in the situational work. But you have to treat him like a receiver. He doesn't play inline a whole lot. So definitely a matchup focus for us.
Mike McCarthy here on your home of America's team, 105.3 The Fan with Shan and RJ. It's Cowboys Falcons 9 a.m. pregame kickoff at noon. Your first reaction, what you said or what you thought when you heard that the Rams, every week we have you on, the Rams are adding someone else, this time Odell Beckham. How do you view that, Coach, as another team you're going up against at the top of the NFC?
Well, I have great respect for Odell. Just love the way he plays. Had a chance to, compete against him both in New York and Cleveland. So I think it's an excellent addition for the Rams. I mean, you got to give them credit. And I think, like anything in this league, you just keep looking at all the scenarios, and they obviously have added two outstanding football players the last 2 weeks. So it's all part of the challenge of the NFL.
Last one, on Sunday, there was a very famous person on the sidelines for the salute to service. The Undertaker also joined our show. Did you know who The Undertaker was? And at any point in your life, have you been a wrestling fan?
Definitely knew who The Undertaker was, absolutely. And, my wrestling days go back to, the 70s. Bruno Sammartino and Jumpin' Johnny DeFazio, George the Animal Steele. So that was probably the peak of my wrestling interest.
Did you ever try to bite a turnbuckle?
No, the green tongue on the turnbuckle. Now that was unique, especially back in those days.
Coach, thank you again for the time. Happy birthday, fellow Scorpio. Best of luck on Sunday against Atlanta.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good weekend.